All right, so here's the deal. That view that you just got a chance to see on the very beginning part of the video here, that was what greeted us at the very end of our hike today on the way out of Silver Creek Falls State Park here in Oregon. It was all socked in with fog down in the valley. We got a chance to see the sun come down over the top of the clouds and everything else. Hi, sun. Yes, I can see you. Apparently he wants to be on camera too today. Who knew? But hey, so the deal is I have spent the majority of my time today thinking about and trying to wrap my brain around how this next deal is going to work from a standpoint of post-juice. Like, what am I going to do? How is this going to work out? And so as I've been going into looking at things, I have decided basically to base the entirety of my post juice diet on the Michael Pollan concept that I read in Omnivore's Dilemma, where he talks about eat food, not too much, and mostly plants. And I mentioned that last night. So basically what that's going to look like, I think, at this point is it's going to look like about an 80-20 split of vegetables and fruit in that order. Less fruit, more vegetables. To 20% of like meat, nuts, seeds, things like that. And so what we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at just trying to kind of come up with a way to ensure that 80% of my plate coverage is as much as possible raw vegetables and fruit. With a little bit of meat here and there, chicken, fish, grass-fed beef, etc. We know some folks that have grass-fed beef, and we need to look into picking up a quarter cow, half a cow, etc. in the future. P.S. If you're watching this, you know who you are. The other thing is what I did was I made a little list of things, and it's not fully complete yet. In fact, it's kind of, I don't know, maybe not even quite there yet. But basically just looking at what is on my absolutely do not eat list, what's on my reduce intake of list, and then generally what's on my maybe once a week treat style list. And so far, here's what I've come up with. So for those of you that are actually curious and actually care, here's what I got. On my do not eat list is fast food, period. Anything that comes to my car through the window of my car, I'm going to consider to not be food. For all intents and purposes, it is garbage. I might as well just take it in that sack and go dump it in the trash can, because for all intents and purposes, that's what it is. The other thing that I've decided not to put into my face any longer is soda of any kind. Period. No Coke, no Pepsi, no Mountain Dew, no nothing. Rockstar, I was on that stuff like crazy before I started this. That can't end well. So I'm looking at completely and totally axing that in its entirety. The other thing Shannon and I were talking a little bit about on the do not eat list, things that are nutritionally dead. Just stuff that has next to no nutritional value whatsoever. What's the point? Why would we put that in our bodies? And I've been here too. So it's not like I'm calling people out here, but you know, why do we feel like we need to eat things that have absolutely, positively no nutrition in them whatsoever? And I think the ultimate answer to that is we become addicted to the flavor, to the taste, etc. An interesting thing happened. I don't think I've mentioned this on video yet. Had a really interesting thing happen in my classroom just before I left. I teach 8th grade science, for those of you that don't know that. And a group of my students was doing an experiment they were trying to find out how hot they could get their mouths with different peppers and things. And then they were going to test to see which method actually made it so that the heat went away, at least in their perception, that the heat went away. So one of the kids went out and bought this bag of, the little sweet peppers, ready to eat sweet peppers, just the little ones. She thought they were habaneros, so she thought they were extremely hot, and they weren't. But what was really interesting to me was this. These kids sat down, took one big bite out of the, 1 second, baby's going to fall off the chair. Hey, time to get down, miss. Come here, you can sit with me. That way you don't get hurt. So they took one big bite out of this sweet pepper, and to a T, all three of them in the group went, "Oh, these are gross. Oh, I can't. Oh, they're just, I can't. The taste is terrible." And then they proceeded to take a bunch of Takis. I don't know if you're familiar with Takis. If you're not, look them up. They're a Barcel product. And then hot Cheetos, dump Tapatio hot sauce all over them, and they ate those just going, "Oh, this is so good. Oh, this tastes so great." We have become completely addicted to flavor, and that flavor is completely artificial. It's made in a laboratory. You know, it's made with maltodextrin. It's made with all these random chemicals and things that people have put together to produce this stuff, and that's what we've become addicted to in our foods. So, as much as possible on my do not eat list, No fast food, which is full of just adulterants, salts, all kinds of fats and things like that. Sodas, it's purely chemical. It's completely and totally chemical. And lastly, nutritionally dead things. My reduce intake ofs. In other words, just try to really reduce the amount of stuff that I eat. And some of these on my list, this is going to be really hard because I really like some of these things. Breads. I don't eat white bread typically, very infrequently. Like if we have like French bread or something like that, that's about the only thing that we would do with white bread. We do all whole wheat and everything on Shannon Home makes all of our breads. So I could probably have a little bit of it and it wouldn't be the end of the world. But dairy, I'm honestly considering, and I don't know what people's thoughts are on this. We do raw milk right now. I'm half tempted not to introduce milk back into my diet, period. I don't think I need it. I don't think there's any reason why I need it. I'm a fully grown man. You know, you look at nature and you look at the way things work. No. Why? So I'm half tempted not to introduce that back at all, at least in milk form. Cheese, sour cream, things like that, I don't have as much of a problem with because they're a cultured product of some variety. To me, that's a little bit different. So I don't know. Maybe I'm splitting hairs. Refined sugars, yeah, that goes on the reduction train. Sweets, things like that, I'm cutting those out as much as humanly possible. Pastas, I like pasta, but pasta's probably going to have to go. At least not in very large. And if I do, we do like pad thai, maybe like rice noodles and things like that versus, egg noodles and stuff. But we'll see. We may start home making our own pasta too and just seeing if we can't do a little better job of it. And then I've decided on 2 once-a-week treats. 1 time per week, I get a once-a-week treat. One of them is Sabbath morning, I get 1 cup of coffee. Black, no additives whatsoever. Just something that I can sit and sip on as I do my Bible study in the morning. That sounds fantastic. And then I get 1 beer, either on Friday night after the Sabbath is started. I'm making my Sabbath kind of my cheat day. But Friday night or Saturday night, but not both. So one or the other. And then it needs to be a very delicious beer that I can sit and savor rather than just try to pound one because I'm thirsty or whatever else. But that's kind of where I'm at this point. Diet mostly plant-based, high protein, lean meats, nuts, things like that. Lower carb. I don't want to cut them out entirely. I have fault with the Atkins diet just from a standpoint of, to me, it doesn't seem... we have a biblical concept of all things in moderation, and to me that seems like there should be some carbs in moderation, and I think that's what this whole Michael Pollan thing, eat food, real food that is food, not too much of that food, keep your portions under control, eat in moderation, and then mostly plants, it doesn't say all plants, mostly plants, in moderation, other things. So I think that's where I'm at. Gus, that's what I'm thinking. What is your thoughts? Fire back, let's hear it. And we will call it for today. Today is day 27. I have 13 days remaining of this juice fast. And again, feeling fine. Did great. We went and hiked Silver Creek Falls today. For those of you that are not from Oregon, scope it out. Type in Silver Creek Falls into images. It's beautiful. It's a really, really neat area. But yeah, all is well, and we are plugging away. Tomorrow is day 28. 12 days remaining. So we will check out for this evening. Have a fantastic night. We will see you tomorrow on day 28.